The 2021-22 Lakers season was the definition of disappointment. Really, dump the thesaurus. Just watch the Lakers games. You'll learn all you need to know about the meaning of the word disappointment. The team worked hard in the offseason. It was all about improving the team for the upcoming season. They worked on ways to shore up their rotation through free agency. So with all of this in mind, the Lakers are still all over the place as they head into the season. Sure, Davis and James will keep the team competitive, or at least you'd think so, but the thing is, they didn't last season. Plenty of new faces joined the team this offseason, but it still doesn't feel adequate to push the Lakers over the top and into the finals. Their free agent endeavors weren't massive upgrades, that's for sure. Their rotation consisted mostly of unproven youngsters and aging veterans. This didn't lead to victories last season, so the Lakers hoped that the addition of more talent would give them a deeper roster, and that would help them into the playoffs. But their signings were crap. Thomas Bryant came in as starting center, but face it, he looked nothing like the same player when he returned from his torn ACL. Theoretically, Lonnie Walker IV is a solid bench guard. How is it then that he barely shot above 40% from the field last season? Now, stick with me. Juan Toscano Anderson had a tepid season for the Golden State Warriors in the playoffs last season, and Troy Brown Jr. was about as interesting as vanilla ice cream on a white plate for the Bulls. Why in the whole wide world did the Lakers think they will change for them this season? It makes no sense. Granted, the bench looks stronger, but not nearly enough to make the market improvement that everyone is expecting. There are holes there, like Swiss cheese, and this is going to be an issue for the Lakers this season. The starting lineup was also something that needed to be serviced like an old car in the offseason. The LA starting five has never been consistent. Okay, injuries played a role, we'll give them that, but the flip side of that coin is that nobody else was doing enough to earn a consistent starting role. Davis and James were shoo-ins for starting spots. Westbrook was bad enough last season that he started going to the bench in the fourth quarter of close games. And while Beverly and Schroeder are competing for the starting shooting guard spot, neither is really ideal. Bryant has the inside track to the starting center role, but is he up for the task? If somehow Kyrie Irving had ended up with the Lakers instead of the Mavericks, things may have looked differently. But alas. So it seems there is consensus that the Lakers draft capital is limited to 2027 and 2029. But that's not entirely true. Whether you love them or loathe them, their roster is not good enough to win an NBA championship, not as it currently stands. If they want to upgrade their roster, and if they really want a shot at getting closer to their goals, they will need to trade. But will they actually give up the necessary draft compensation to entice another team into a deal? That's the million-dollar question, folks. The Athletic's Shams Charania recently discussed the Lakers' hesitancy to trade their 2027 and 2029 picks. I'm told the organization will be prudent with their 2 first-round picks available the rest of the decade, he said. And then he added, as of right now, the organization seems to be moving in a direction where they're going to resist moving first-round picks if the season continues to go down this path. It doesn't stop there. Chris Haynes of the Bleacher Report said something similar. The question flying around the Lakers HQ at the moment is undoubtedly whether they should go all in, whether they should revamp their roster and build it around Davis and James, or whether they should wait until the end of the season to make wholesale changes. They're only armed with those 2 first-round picks, 2027 and 2029. They lack enticing young talents, and they lack draft capital. But maybe this warrants a little exposition. A look at the full context of the draft pick situation for the Lakers, maybe? Okay, here goes. The Lakers are slated to have a first-round pick in all but a solitary draft between now and the end of the decade. Oh yes, this is so. They're guaranteed a first-round selection on draft night in 2023, 2024 or 2025, 2026, 2028, 2027, 2028, and 2029. This year, the Pelicans can swap their first-round pick with the Lakers, but the Lakers still have their pick. The Lakers' first-round pick will go to the Pelicans in 2024 or 2025. This is a part of the Anthony Davis trade, and the choice will be with the Pelicans if they want to pick up the trade in 2024 or defer it until the next season. In theory, this puts the Lakers in a solid position, right? Not so fast, Jack. Enter the collective bargaining agreement rules. These prevent you from trading future draft picks in consecutive seasons. The Pelicans' 2023 swap rights and their 2024 deferment encumber the Lakers' future pick ability. So while they have picks in all but one draft until the decade ends, they can't trade picks in 2023 or 2024 or 2025 or 2026. The first time they can trade is in 2027, and if they did trade that pick, their hands are tied until 2029. While this is a lot of explaining, it is important. It's the truth of the Lakers' situation, and the argument that the Lakers should trade their only picks suddenly becomes a non-flyer. Maybe you still want to value those picks. There is still potential for them to be near the top of the draft, and giving them up now could feel all kinds of risky. Maybe you believe the path to Lakers glory is getting their next superstar through a trade, and maybe you feel as many draft picks as possible is the route to that. Or maybe you'd simply pick more players in general, but then you'd need to see a superstar player that can persuade you to make a trade. These are all reasonable positions, and they're the kinds of strategies reasonable minds comfortably disagree on. As it stands, the Lakers have two high-level superstars who play all-star level basketball. The supporting cast is good, not great, but the team is completely muddled by an imbalanced roster. The urgency to win, while those stars are still playing, should be sky high, adrenalized. And with the whole draft situation, the team cannot give away too much. They're fairly insulated. That insulation could be the high explosives they need. They could use it to improve the team, but as always, the devil will be lurking in the details. Discerning between a good deal and a crap deal is the way basketball presidents make their money. The would you and won't you positions are legion, but prudence is needed. Right now, however, with all of these things considered, the Lakers aren't in it to win it. Not for a while. And that's us, folks. Catch you in the next video.